This recording is protected by copyright. No part may be reproduced without the prior permission of the University of South Australia.
My name is Stephen Tongun, or Stephen Tongan, as some of the Australians really pronounce my name. I'm one of the Sanaa board members. I am also one of the MCs, an ambassador, a lot of things. Basically, I wear many hats within Sanaa, but it's a pleasure to be here with you all today. And thank you for making the time, despite the scorching heat outside. I would like to acknowledge that the land that we meet on today is Ghana land. We wish to express our respect for the Ghana people, their elders and ancestors, and acknowledge their spiritual and cultural connections in relationship with Ghana people, with their traditional land. So we respect their culture, both past, present, and emerging. I would like to welcome you all here tonight on behalf of the Hawke Center at the University of South Australia and Sanaa. We're all very pleased to be co-presenting tonight's presentation. As part of Sanaa, A Better World Through Creativity is a festival platform. Unfortunately, Jacinta Thompson, Executive Director of Hawke Center, was unable to be here tonight, but I do wish to acknowledge our appreciation and gratitude for her, for the Hawke Center, for the incredible support, not only for tonight's event, but also for the beautiful exhibition on display at the Kerry Packer Civic Gallery. Their continued support for this special project is very, very much appreciated. Tonight, we have a special guest with us. We welcome Lookslike Avido, a self-taught fashion designer, community organizer, entrepreneur, born and raised in Kibera, Nairobi, Kenya. Tonight, David will share more about his journey, his fashion label, his foundation, and the impact that he hopes to have in this world. The Hawke Center is committed in delivering a diverse program of events and exhibitions throughout the year, which reflect our fundamental themes of strengthening our democracy, valuing our diversity, and building our future. David Avido wants to challenge the views about his community. It is through the vehicle of fashion that David creates a social impact in Kibera and beyond. Highlighted by Beyonce on a Black is King campaign as one of the African artists changing the world, David's work has been featured in Vogue USA, Vogue Italia, and his journey filmed and shared across the world by Al Jazeera, BBC, CNN, and the National Geographic. In 2019, he showcased his label at the Berlin Fashion Week. And recently, and in many years, he's designed and made clothes for artists such as Bruno Mars. I'm sure you all know Bruno Mars. Catch a grenade for you, that guy. Dolla Sign, a very popular musician amongst a lot of the young kids. Chronixx, who's actually one of my favorite reggae musicians, and if you do really like reggae music, I suggest you really look at some Chronixx or hear some Chronixx. And also Da'Ville. In 2021, David founded the Avido Foundation, an NGO that's focusing on training and developing sewing skills for deaf women, young mothers, and youth who are passionate about a career in fashion. He's an inspirational young man. Avido wants to use his skills to inspire and engage young people in Kenya and across Africa. It gives me great pleasure to introduce this brother of mine from Kibera, Nairobi, all the way to Australia. Please join me in welcoming David Avido.
Thank you. Asante. Good evening, everyone. As Steve have just told you, my name is David Avido, and today I just want to let you know more about my life, my journey, before I came to fashion and realized I could do fashion. First of all, I was born and raised with a single mom. I'm the firstborn in my family. I have 2 brothers and 1 sister. I dropped out of school when I was like 11 years old, and being raised with a woman that is just depending on washing clothes and supporting his kids was a tough situation for her. So she didn't have enough money to take me to school, so I dropped out of school when I was 11 years old. I used to play soccer, so soccer is what was supporting me to be in school around that time. When I dropped out of school, I was so depressed. Being a firstborn, I have to help my mom take care of my sibling. I don't know where to start or where to go. I don't have an idea, I can't find no job. I was super depressed in the street, not knowing what to do. And most of the friends that I had in the street at that time are either the people that don't want to be in school or they don't like being there at all. And me being with them together at that time, it's not like something that I had chosen for myself. So what I tried during that time, I started writing spoken words because that could help me to get the anger out of my heart. I was raised in a Christian family, trying to speak about God, like, why is this happening to me? Why does this happen to to my family like ours? Like, I'm born in poverty. I'm not ashamed of that. I'm very happy because that helps me to understand where I'm from, and it can help me to grow and outgrow the situation. So as I keep on growing up, I turned like 14, 15, tried looking for a job, went to construction site. So I was working in a construction site when I was 15 to help my mom to be able to raise my siblings, because at that time I was like, let me just sacrifice my life and support my mom and help my siblings to grow up to be the people that they want to be, because my siblings were already looking at me and saying, like, if our brother dropped out of school at this age, it means by the time David, we also reach at the same age as David, it means like we'll also drop out of school. So at the construction site, I worked there for like 6 months. After 6 months, I could not work anymore because I started having chest problems. We were not being given the protective to protect ourselves when we are mixing cements and everything. So I dropped there, and then I was like, the money that I was saving for all that time, I had to use it to take myself to hospital, and I felt like I was even not doing anything to support my mom at that time. So I became so much depressed and, continued just writing spoken words, not knowing what to do or how to start it. And at that time, the people that I could relate to and the people that I used to play soccer with as my friends, most of them had already been killed because some of them were, engaging in crime, drug abuse, depression, and being in a situation where like that, you don't know what to do, and your friends are already killed, and my neighbors were telling my mom, your son is next, your son is next. So I didn't know what to do. So I was like, let me try and go to church, start dancing maybe with a gospel dance crew to be able to put myself away from that situation. So I will say that dance is what helped me to put myself out of the streets and to be able to let myself out of that situation, because when people start seeing you go to church, at least they'll be like, oh, okay, he's a changed leaf. He's not going to be able to be here anymore. So let's look at him more. So in that situation, I continued dancing. It's not like I wanted to be a dancer or like I was good in dancing. I kept on training every day, going there, extracting moves, and all my dance mates, all of them were in school. So every time, I'll wait for them for the whole day. Then they'll only come for 1 hour, let's say in the evening from 5 to 6. After 5 to 6, they have to go back home and start revising the education stuff and everything. So through dancing, I started sketching ideas of fashion, trying to put situation together, like how I could be able to do something out of just dance, because I came to realize that it means that almost 8 or 9 hours of my day is just waste because I have to wait for all my dance mates, and there's no job that I can be able to relate to, and there's also no situation under no condition that I just wanted to be sitting in my mom's home, because anytime, any day I can be spending time with this guy that is my friend, and maybe he was involved in crime somewhere, maybe police is looking for him, or he's being trying to be found, and then they don't find him because he ran away, so they'll only find you. So if they find you, they kill you too, because they say birds of the same feathers flock together. And that is how most of my friends passed their lives out for, because they had friends that maybe were involved in criminals activities, so they were being killed as mistaken identity. And aside from that, depression and losing your life because you took it on your own because you are super depressed, and maybe drug abuse after that situation. After that time, with dancing, I started sketching more ideas of clothes, taking to the tailor so that the tailors could be able to make outfit for us that we could wear to go and perform in different places, because we wanted to look different, and I wanted to learn how to do more sketches and stuff. So after the tailors was making the outfits, they were really looking so nice, but those were the outfits that you can just perform with it. You can just walk with it, but you cannot perform with it, because if you try to perform with it, it starts cheering up. So I was not understanding what was happening that was wrong. So I was like, let me spend more time with this tailor at least to be able to learn and understand how I can be able to come up with outfits that will not tear up in the stage. And that is how I started doing fashion. So just spending time with the tailors, seeing what they do, trying to balance, figuring out how to overcome that situation and grow on. When I was young, I wanted to become an electrical engineer, but I could not be able to become that. So I was like, it's all right, let me just do another thing aside from that to see how I can balance it up. So from doing fashion that time, we used to have a stigma in our community because it's like a ghetto community called Kibera, and they used to say like nothing good could come in that area. So if you're from that community, you are only associated with crime, drug abuse, prostitution, and that's all. And even if you study so hard and then you go and get like a good education to try to find a job, they'll still be afraid of like hiring you because they'll feel like maybe you are going to steal company stuff, so maybe you are going to take prostitution there, and then you try like to overcome like levels and levels so that you can be able to be given good money and stuff. So people were not like giving us jobs at that time at all. So when I started like making the clothes, we could go to perform to places, and even in those rooms, they will put us like in different corners saying like, if anybody's phone is lost in the room, or maybe like is misplaced, we are the first people to be pushed in a corner like, oh, can you search them first, So when I started making the clothes, I was like, good clothes can also come from places like Kibera, and be worn with people, with respect and, appreciated with people, because I believe that Kibera is a home of talent and we can be able like to create. So I started like just making clothes, and I was not making them to sell them. I was just like making it for fun, to express myself, to look different from the other people, to show people that we are also good, we are also human, and we can do something with our lives. So through dancing, and now I started doing fashion, I came to realize that through fashion I could be able like to express myself more, because I was like feeling that when I do it, it gives me kind of peace of mind. I have a friend that I can spend with the whole day. Like even if sometimes I was sad, I will just go and just sit next to a sewing machine, start sewing. And that time I didn't even own any sewing machine, until the time I approached our late member of parliament, whose name was Kenneth Okoth, and he decided to donate a sewing machine to me. So when he gave me the sewing machine, I didn't even know what I was supposed to do with it, because I didn't even have a place to put it. Our house was like very small. It could only like fit one bed, which is 3 by 6, and that used to be like my mom's bed. She used to sleep with my sister on the same bed, and then I would sleep on the chair, my brother will sleep on the other chair, and then down there, my other brother will sleep there. So it means like during the night, I could put the sewing machine outside, and then when I put the machine outside, it means people can steal it anytime. And since the house was made out of like an iron sheet, I just like made a small hole of the iron sheet, and then the dog chain is what like I tied the sewing machine with. So when I sleep at night, I'm holding my machine, So if anybody tries to steal it, then I'll hear the iron sheet doing, then I'll just start crying, thief, thief, and then my machine is safe. So for like 6 months, I stayed like that in my mom's house, super depressed. That time I was now turning to like around 17, 18. Still with my mom, I don't know what to do. Like I cannot sew at home, because when I want to sew during the day, that is when like, my mom's friends are coming, in the house, and they want to pray, they want to catch up because they were involved like in women groups and stuff. So I have to give them space. So I'll come back in the evening, and then I'm like, okay, let me start sewing now. At that time now is like when my siblings are coming back from school. And now that time they want to do their homework. So I cannot even start competing with that situation. So I have to let them do what they have to do. It was hard because the work that my mom used to do, it was like, housewife, as I told you guys. And being a housewife there, it's not like she was just washing clothes for people in a week. And in a week, it means that she can only maybe wash clothes for a person for maybe twice or maybe once, because clothes don't get dirty every day like that, and people don't like wash clothes every day. So by washing clothes for people, like in a day, she gets paid something like around 300 shillings, which is like 3 Australian dollars, or 3 Australian dollars to 5 Australian dollars. So you can imagine that amount of money. We are supposed to pay our rent. We are supposed to buy food. We are supposed also like, to take our siblings, to schools. My mom is supposed to do all that with all that money. So it was such a tough situation, and I was embarrassed every time. I didn't know what I was supposed to do and how I was supposed to do it. So there's this guy, his name is called Japheth Okoth. He came by to visit me one day because I knew him through dance, and he liked how I was dancing and how I was associated with people, because I was just like dancing, and I don't know what to do after that. I'll just like be quiet, I don't talk. Super depressed, because I remember from school, when I was like around 8, 7 years in primary school, my school uniform used to be torn. Like everybody in class could see my butt, because I don't have like, proper school uniform, and my mom cannot buy it every time. And the school do not allow you to wear other outfits inside. So it means it's like that, dry. So I just have like, one shot, and I go like that. And if you go in the class in the morning, you are very clean. After, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, you've scrubbed your butt in the desk. It's already becoming white. The teacher comes to class, tells you, David, you are good in maths. The maths that I gave you guys the other time, you were able to pass it. Could you come to the blackboard and teach the other students how you were able to get the answer correct? So for me to go to the blackboard, I'm very proud I'm going to teach the maths. But the moment I reach the blackboard, I turn around, I did this, everybody starts laughing. Because everybody can see your butt. You know, the first time is okay, the second time is okay, the third, fourth, fifth, sixth is all right. But the moment it starts reaching the 10th time, you start thinking about your life. What is wrong? Why are you guys every time laughing about me? And it reached to a point where I could not like express myself. I could not talk in class because I was highly depressed and I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I even normally tell people sometimes, like, you know, dropping out of school at that time helped me to shape my life because I was able like to be alone, to think about my life as an individual, to like start seeing my problems, like how am I able like to change it and how can I be able like to change it at that time. So it made me to be like a very quiet person up to like the time I was like, you know, dancing 18, 19, I'm still like, you know, very quiet. I don't talk too much because I've been able like to be shattered for the last like almost 8 to 10 years at that time. So when that guy Japheth came to visit me after the relationship of dancing, he came to see where I was living with my mom, and then he was like, yo, why don't you just come to my house and then you stay with me and then you can be living in my house? And he was living in a room that is like, it's like an apartment, yes, but it has like three bedroom, whereby he stays inside in one bedroom and then the other bedroom is like for the kid, and then the other room was using like as keeping the work stuff and everything. So his kid used to go to like a boarding school. So he gave me the room. So when the kids come, we can share the room. But when the kid goes to school, I can just use the room to see you and, you know, try to create creativity out of that room. So I went and then started staying with him. And most of the time, I only used to see you at night. And then during the daytime, I could like try, go and dance, spend time with the people around as I try to look for creativity and what to do. So every time at night I'm sewing, and then during the daytime, I'll start sewing from around like 7 p.m. all the way to like around 5 p.m. Then I sleep up to like 10 a.m. Then after 10 a.m., shower, take my meal, and then after that time, I will try go look for maybe for opportunities that I could be able to do ideas of how to create costume, because at that time I was not thinking of like making the clothes for money. I was just like doing it for fun and express myself and, you know, let the depression and anger inside myself to get out of that situation. I even remember the first ever person that I ever made an outfit for was Don Carlos. And that time I was like just, you know, walking in the streets after just trying to collect ideas and to think how I'm gonna be able to do the next costume for my dance crew. I was just walking in the street, and then Don Carlos is like a reggae artist that was coming to Kenya to perform, and he was walking in the streets to be shown how the community is. And then he saw the outfit I was wearing, and then he was like, wow, that outfit looks so nice. Did you make it? I'm like, yeah. And I was super surprised, like, you know, that kind of person could ask me a question like that. So I ran back home quickly because nobody genuinely had come to me at that point and told me like, wow, whatever you're doing is nice, this is so amazing. And somebody out of nowhere could just come and appreciate you like that. Went back home, brought another outfit, and then here, this is yours as a gift. And then when I gave it to him, he performed with it. And then after performing with it, he called me later on to talk to me about like, you know, how the creation of that outfit was so nice. And after that talk with him, that's when I was like, let me take fashion. Let me try to figure out how I can be able like to understand how to do fashion more. Because I felt like there was so much things that I could be able like to discover more into fashion. So when I took into fashion, that is when like, now I also like will try to also like show you guys to make you understand how everything happened in pictures form so you can be able like to understand. And that is how like the name Lookslike Avido came up, because when people could see me, they'll be like, okay, whatever you're wearing is nice. I want to wear something like the one that you wore the other day. Could you make me something that looks like this? That I'm like, okay, you wanna looks like a video? Then I was like, yeah, okay. Then that's how I started like, you know, making looks like a video. So on the next slide, so this is how like Kibera looks like if you look it from a distance. So you can imagine highly polluted area, and you find people living in this place. These are like, we know like we don't have much, but we believe tomorrow is going to be a better day. For any of you that have visited Kibera, like you'll go through the street of Kibera, you see kids, they don't have a meal at home, but they believe tomorrow is going to be a good day, and they don't even care. They're just happy. Hi, how are you? Welcome home. That is how like they behave every day, despite the challenges that we go through in that situation. This is how the streets kind of looks like, and now this is about us. So Lookslike Avido is a Kibera fashion house company based in Kibera. Our products are gender neutral, fun, and mostly colorful. And our signature fabrics are Ankara and velvet materials. It's because we want to express more about our culture. I want to be able to express more about my culture, to show people what we go through, what we normally do in the community, how we relate in the community, because I believe people, I normally tell myself, I normally feel like I'm not even that creative the way people think. I believe there are so many people in Kibera that are so talented more than me. Maybe I'm just lucky to be able to express what people are there, people go through there, and people have there. So I just want to show that to the world and make the world understand and see what we really actually have there, because sometimes what people have seen or what people have heard or maybe seen in the media sometimes is never the reality, because you know why. This is some of the velvet jackets that we normally make. So on the side, you'll see the outer part, we have, it's plain, and then on the inside part, I try to introduce now the color to make people feel comfortable, the colorfulness, the way it comes in. I feel like it normally appeals when you wear it in the office. You can just have it in an easy way, and then when you come out, you can splash it the way you want. And then we normally have prints, African prints. We try to introduce prints in different ways, bucket hats, and also face masks. On the other side, we also have long kimono. This kimono also, you can be able to wear it in different angles, different ways, different occasion. You can wear it as a casual. Depending on how you are styled with it, you can also wear it in office. This is about our goals. Our main goal is to provide sustainable and sustainable employment to Kibera residents. The reason why I say this is because for me, I believe people like my mom, if they had got a job opportunity, I will be able to go to school in a better way. And since they never had a sustainable job opportunities for them that could be able to help them to create and to do what they were supposed to do at that time, she was not able to provide. So providing sustainable job opportunities and employments to Kibera residents is my first priority. And sustainability to us is not just about fabric. The reason why I say sustainability for us is not about fabrics itself, because we live in a highly polluted area. So me saying that I'm gonna start producing outfits that are just not gonna affect the environment only, it's something that I'm not able to do alone. So my main focus of sustainability, I normally say that is the social activities that happen in my community. First of all, I try to focus to be able to create opportunities that I can be able, because I know people that lives in houses there with no roof. They don't have proper basic needs. They don't have good clothes. They don't have food in their table. They don't have a roof on top of their heads. They are just struggling within the streets. So the first important thing I can be able to do is create job opportunities for these people. If I create a job opportunity for one person, I believe this one person, maybe they have 2 or 3, 4 kids. They're able to also to put food on their table. And if you support one person, it means that I'll be able to support 4 people at one time, because the person have a husband or a wife, and he's also supporting their kids at the same time. That's why I say our sustainability circle is of how we operate in the street. And this is how it is. So the first cycle you find is the design creation. First of all, I'll sketch the idea, put the idea together. Then after putting the idea together, then I go for sourcing. For sourcing, where we normally get our fabrics, I buy my fabrics from the local women. The reason why I buy the fabrics from the local women is because this helps them to produce, to have a proper, to produce, to be able to increase their high income, and to be able to promote the economy of my community by helping them to have a job opportunity for themselves. And aside from that, we go to production. So production will come back to the workshop, and then I'll be able to create it. And once I create it, then I'll be able to create the cell. And then after I create the cell, that's when now normally 20% of my profit, I take it back to my community. And how I take it back is, I have 3 programs. First of all, I train deaf women and young women how to make clothes. The reason why I train deaf women and young mothers how to make clothes is because most of them, they are going through the same thing as my mom went through. And I don't want that to be a repetition in life. I want to be able to create something that can create sustainability for them. And I believe by giving them skills and knowledge can be able to help them to earn a living or create a living for themselves. So I normally give them a course of 6 months, and then after giving them a course for 6 months, then I'll introduce them to people that can be able to give them internship Then after internship, then they can be hired as tailors. The previous cohort that I had like 30 people. After training all the deaf 30 people, right now, at least 5 of them have been hired with a company called Sandstorm. And Sandstorm is one of the biggest companies in Kenya that produce like high quality bags made out of like leather and canvas. And now they're hired, and monthly, at least they get salary from that. And aside from that, there are some of them that have been able to start their own businesses, and they don't have to depend on washing clothes for people anymore, or involving themselves in like, our other stuff that happen in the community that don't provide them with anything. Aside from training the deaf women and young mothers, I normally like, make school uniform for students. I go to different schools, see how students are performing. Do you want to be in school? Do you love being in school? And your school uniform is not good. I just like, take your measurement, go back home, buy fabric, make a school uniform for you, and then I go back and then I give them to them, because I believe by doing that, I'm able like to boost their self-esteem, and they're not going through the same thing that I went through. Because even if I was able like, to overcome my situation, it doesn't mean that every other person can be able to overcome that situation. So up to now, I've been able to make 837 school uniforms. All of these are just for free. Just make it for them. I go my way. Next time we even meet on the road, I don't even remember them. Some of them are like, "Oh, David, how are you? You made my school uniform." I'm like, "Oh, wow, you look nice. Are you enjoying school?" "Yeah, that's good." So that is how I normally do it, and then I go my way. Then aside from that, I also have like 10 kids that I normally pay school fees for. These kids, they are performing really good in school, but some of them, their parents maybe died because of accidents. Some other maybe had diseases like AIDS and stuff. So when their parents died, they are just like staying with good Samaritans or maybe some family members. So it means they are not the first priority in the family. So in school, even if they're performing good, they don't get the support that is needed. So most of the time, they're chased out of school. And if they're out of school and they're back in the street, anything can happen. Be it like, the crime, maybe involving in crime, or maybe be it like, getting involved in like mistaken identity, or maybe depression starts from there. So I just make sure they're in school every time so that they can be able to continue learn. And there are people that they have goals and they also have ambition and they have dreams of who they want to be in life. So it means like they understand what they want in their own life. So I try as much as I can to just to make sure that they're in school. So all these 3 projects, I normally like put it together through the sales that I make. So every sales that I make, 20% is just what goes and do that. I never always like had an NGO. The NGO that I have, I created, which is called Avido Foundation. I created this NGO only like in 2021. When I started my business started like 4-5 years ago. That is immediately when I was just meeting Victoria. That time Victoria had just come to Kibera, and then that's when like I was able to meet Victoria. That was like the first year I started doing fashion. When it started, I was doing all these activities before I created the NGO. The NGO I created after COVID. During COVID time, I was making face masks. These face masks, I was making through the fabric that I'd made clothes for clients, and they had remained. And since they had remained, I was using those fabrics to make the face masks, and then I could distribute it to my community, and also doing the proper research about COVID and being able like to share it with people in my community, because in my community, people don't have like the first-hand information, because they depend on information that they listen from a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend. And you know how this information passes around. By the time it reaches you, you only know the full stop. You don't know the body. So most of the time I was like trying to find the research, reaching out to friends that I know in Europe that knows like the right information about COVID. Then I make the mask, and then I go and distribute them in the community as I talk to them one-to-one, telling them, guys, this is what is happening. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. Don't listen about this. Listen to this. And that is how like I was operating. And during that time, I was able to make, it was 28,000 face masks, 673. All these I made and distributed to the community for free of charge, not asking for any money or anything. And then after that time, I was even given like the honorary award with the president, Roll of Honor, as a champion of standing for my community and being able to support my community in a time of need. After that time, I had helped so many people. You can imagine 28,000 people making like, face masks and giving to all of them. Even after I stopped making the mask, they kept on coming and they were like, please, we need help. We know you're the one that can help us. I'm like, but there's this organization that can help you. Can you go to them? They were like, no, please, I need your help. So it became so hard, and I felt like I was mixing myself too much, because I have a company that deals in cloth, but at the end of the day, yes, I do so much for my community, I was unable to separate the both of two. So that's when I was like, okay, let me create an NGO to at least to help me separate how I operate between my profits and also between the things that I want to do for my community. And that's how the NGO was born, and that was like in 2021. So I'm bad in presenting with this, so that's why I just summarized everything. And this is like about the sourcing, the way I told you guys. And then this is like the production, how the products are normally made in Kibera. I'll allow you to read this too as we just go on. And then this is how like I was distributing the face mask to my community. Going to them, giving them, trying to talk. Before I could give to all of them, they'll just like crowd there. I talk to them, this is how the situation is. So after talking to them, then I start giving them to mask, because once you give them the mask, all of them start running like, okay, let me go now. But I'll just hold it fast, talk to them. After talking to them, then I give it to them. Then this is like another image like showing how I was like still like distributing the mask to them. This is about like how the sales we do and how we, the 20% supports back the community. These are like some of the models that we've been able like, to create opportunities for them. I remember there's a time Vogue magazine wanted to work with us, and they wanted to bring models in that could be able like to be part of the production. But I said, no, if you wanna come and do a shoot about me in my community, you only have to do it with the models in my community. And I was like, let me fetch the models, train them, then I can introduce them to you. And after doing that, yes, the Vogue came in, they did the shoot, and my models in my community, at least they were able to be paid. And after that, they could also like use that as a platform to create other opportunities for themselves. So I try as much as I can to create opportunities for the people around in my circle so that they can be able like to boost their self and to empower themselves or in their own, even if I'm not there. This is like one of the shoots that I also like did with, this is my dance mate, his name is Alex. We used to dance together, and up to now we are still friends. These are some of other models that we'll be able like to create opportunities for. Just introduce them like, to whenever we have like a shoot or we have like a project that I have, I always make sure it's just them. And I like, whether you are physically disabled, you are an albino, whatever you are going through in my community, I try to figure out ways how I can be able like to engage you and put you in a position whereby even if I leave, you can be able to create on yourself. So when I go back to my community, I don't give out like handouts like take this, take that, no. Come, can we do this project? Learn from this project. How can you create for yourself after that? These are other models. And then this is some of the women that we were training the sewing program. Some of them are deaf and some of them are not deaf. The reason why I was mixing the deaf women and women that are not deaf is because I want the deaf women to be able to feel like, they're part of the community. I want the deaf women to believe that they can be in the middle of the people that speak and they don't speak, but still be comfortable. Why? Because I've been able, like, to put them in that condition to make them feel comfortable, because the moment I start introducing them to people that can give them job, I'm not introducing them to people that are deaf, You can get jobs in companies that people speak and you mingle with them at the same time, because you also matter in the community and you are nothing less than every other people there. So we are, all of us, we are part of one community and we are in this together. This is some of the students that I support in school. I pay school fees for them, and some of them that I make masks. These still the women, and then now a group of like the picture. All of these students, I'm the one that makes schooling from them. I pay school fees for them and make sure they're in school and they study the right way. And just make sure like Monday to Monday they're there, and I don't just pay school fees to them. I also follow up what happened to that. And after school is closed, or maybe during Sundays, I also like create projects whereby they can have like life skills. Teach them about like, education outside, make them understand about life, human growth, creating goals, and dreaming as a student, and how can we be able to achieve opportunities in your own life. That is a sustainable venture of Kibera as an overview as I live in Kibera. The other project I want to speak about more is like Kibera Fashion Week. Last year, I was able to create another opportunity which is called Kibera Fashion Week. The reason why I called it Kibera Fashion Week is because in our community, most students and most kids that grow up, we grow up without no role models. The only people that we see, we only see them in TV. We see like, fashion shows in TV. We see like soap operas in TV. And we don't believe like these kind of things can happen in our community. So most of the time people grow up not having role models and not being empowered to a point whereby they feel they can also like do it. So when I created this opportunity, I wanted to make them feel like you can do this thing in your own. You can grow up and be a fashion designer from Kibera and achieve whatever you want to achieve. You can grow up being a model and achieve whatever you want to achieve. You can grow up like, don't look down on any other person's job, whether you are like, a motorcycle driver, whether you are, you are making like, metal works and everything. I wanted to make them feel that, to understand that, and make them know that they matter, and whatever they do, as long as you are alive and you are keeping up with that, that will help you grow and understand life in a better way. Because the most important thing in life is life itself. You are breathing, you are alive. That is the most important thing, and I wanted like them to feel how it is. So this is like a trailer about how Kibera Fashion Week was. I would like you guys to see it, feel it, experience it, as we keep on. People back here, they normally just see the glamour in the TVs, and they don't see the glamours in their own street, not knowing that we have it here. It's just that we have not been able, to acknowledge it on our own self. The kids growing up, seeing like models walking in the streets, they're like, I want to be a model too, because they don't just see that in TV now, but they can also like relate with it in their community. So
it's worked on by a couple of people who have, the impact in community.
Being able to put all these people together as artists and convince them that you guys are really artists, it was a thing for me. I want ourselves to keep on accepting ourselves, because once you accept yourself, then you become a weapon and you become very lethal, whereby people will never take it for granted.
Let's just give it out all to the world. Let Kibera be known by the world.
The reason why I created this fashion show, aside from that, like me personally, as a designer, yes, people knows me in my community. Personally, I never showcased any of my clothes in that fashion show. I call like around 5 to 10 designers, and then after calling these 5 to 10 designers, I told them like, what I'm trying to vision is like for us to speak about our culture, speak about how you feel, where you're from, speak about a collection where you feel like if you speak about that, it will inspire like these other kids and the other generation that comes from this area, to show the diversity of where we come from and how we are. Then they were like, where will we get the stage? I'm like, no, don't think about the stage. We can't afford that. We have a railway line that passes through the community. We're gonna do it there, and that is gonna be like our main stage. So we went to like the railway line. That is where was our runway, where the models were walking. We create like a tower where like will come out, and the railway, the train will pass, we'll step out, it continues, we keep on the whole night. We started the event from 6 p.m. and then we went all the way to like around 1 p.m. Even journalists were coming, they were like, wow, we've been watching Fashion Week and stuff, but we've never seen something like this. Why? Because I just wanted them like, we have everything that we need here. We don't have like, to get this or that and that to be able to create something that can inspire people. First of all, make these people understand who they are, make them believe what they are and how they can achieve better from that. And by doing that, I'm happy because, yes, as much as I did not showcase my clothes, it's because I wanted to inspire them to create like, better collection for themselves. And I helped them to achieve the exact quality that is needed, like, for entire market, like worldwide, like in terms of clothes, clothing, styles and design, how to come up with those kind of concepts. And after doing that, I invited people to come to watch them, just to show them like, it's not about like being like, selfish, feeling that this person is a competition to you, or this is a person is a competition to you. You can come, create opportunities for other people around you. Even if you have too much job, share it with other people. They can be able like to learn and create from it, from that situation. I would like to also like show you how like the backstage was and how like the other work was during the show in the next concept.
This is our backstage! How do I look in yellow?
You're good, you look nice. Yes.
Excited. Yeah. Ready to kill the show.
I know your heart is beating and it's crazy.
as individuals in Kibera, we always want to express ourselves. What we did, we went out and we were able to get a barber, we were able to get like welders. We brought them all together, like not just like, to create like clothes, but to express their feeling about our Kibera culture. They are great minds, great people, and that is what we want to show people here.
Lookslike Avido. Kibera ni kwetu. Kibera ni kwetu.
Yeah. So, and from opportunities like this, like what I believe is something that can be able like to inspire more people to become who they want to be. It can inspire people like to be themselves, understand what they want as individual, and by understanding what you want to achieve as an individual, then it can help you to create other opportunities that can help you, not only you, but also like everybody in your community and in your household as a general. And then by that, I always believe that great things can come from places least expected. Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter the condition. As long as you're alive, you can move. That is it. I normally tell like people back in my community that don't strive so much to achieve success and overtake happiness on the way, because you'll achieve that success and then you start going back to try to get that happiness and you'll never know where you were able to overtake it. It's like trying to go to this destination, and then you take a train and then forget the money that you'll pay the train to travel with. So once you reach there, you're starting to struggle, like how will I get back the money to pay that? All that stress, don't overcome that, just take it slow, live life happy, appreciate the people that are around you, live with them all right, treat everybody right, whether they have money or they don't have money. As long as you're alive, that is the most important thing. And let's live together as a family and grow. And there's nothing beautiful like growing together with the people that you, achieving so many things together with the people that you grew up with, people that you consider friends, and people that you can count on. So I believe great things can come from places least expected. If you like to reach out, this is like my email, website, and also my Instagram and my WhatsApp number. I appreciate being here, and I'm super grateful for Sanaa inviting me. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, everybody that signed up to come and watch my talk. And in case you want to know more about me, I have like a page on my website that is written about me, and so many videos on YouTube that I speak about, like, my life and everything. I could not speak about everything, so I was just trying to summarize as much as I can to be able like to make you guys understand why I'm here and why I believe I should be here again. Thank you so much. One of my main goals this year is to be able like to create an exchange program for my community. I want to be able like, to let's say maybe have a student from here, bring that student to Kibera and make that student like, see how we grow that through life, how we work hard to achieve whatever we have there. Because I'm also like planning to create like another Kibera Fashion Week later on this year. And once I do that, maybe the student can come around during that time, see how the experience happened, and maybe I also get one person from Kibera to come and see how life happens around this side, because I believe by doing that to a creative, it opens their mind. I can't imagine what else that a creative can be able like to create by just getting out of their, comfort zone. And maybe like an artist coming from this side going there also, it can also like make them see stuff, and they will never like maybe take things for granted anymore, and they can keep on pushing and appreciating everything around them. Thank you again.
Thank you. Let's appreciate Avido, everyone, once again.
Yeah.
Thank you for that presentation.
Thank you.
I must say I'm feeling very proud today because I happen to be one of the benefactors of Avido's initial jackets. When we first contacted Avido, Victoria came with a whole bunch of jackets, and sure enough, I'm wearing an Avido classic today, so I'm feeling good. Those that don't have one, trust me, it uplifts the confidence just that little bit extra. But that being said, thank you so much for the presentation.
I appreciate it.
We'll now get into the questions. We have some pre-submitted questions that were asked. Thank you to all those that did ask in person, and we're going to be obviously answering. Some of them might be on live stream as well, but I'll just jump right into it. The first question I want to ask you is, where do you get your inspiration from? And is it from the rich African culture only, or other cultures as well?
My inspiration, I normally get it from my community, because what I'm just trying to show people and portray is like something that is in my community. I just want to show people how we live. I just want to show people like, Kibera is a home of talent, and we have so many people that are very talented. It's just that we don't get the opportunity to express ourselves very much. So my inspiration I get is from Kibera.
No, that's very true. Like I said, being a product of Kibera as well, I must say the talent there is amazing.
Yes, so much.
Many people often ask me, were you really born in Kibera? Or did you grow up in Kibera? And I said, yeah, Kibera made me who I am.
That's true.
It taught me to appreciate the dreams and opportunities that you're given.
True,
I must say, thank you for always continuing that
Appreciate.
inspiration. The second question that was asked was, do you have some artists that you draw inspiration from specifically?
Like regarding artists that I draw inspiration from, I've been lucky to work with so many artists in my life, and all this happened very fast in a span of this is my 4th year in fashion since I started. So many things have happened really quickly, and I normally say that most artists that I would like to get inspiration from, they didn't went through the same thing I went through as an individual. So most of the time, I'll just relate to them because maybe they're friends. I like what they do. I like what they sing, and maybe some of their songs make me meditate a lot about my life. It helps me find more about myself, and I can maybe be able to relate to their music. But in terms of inspiration and finding myself, I tend to dig more into myself because everything that I do are things that affected me when I was young, and I don't want a repetition of that to happen to anyone in life. So I try as much as I can to do that because I feel like that is therapy to myself, and I'm able to be in a better place every day.
I think in fairness, you probably inspire them as well.
Yeah, somehow I'll say that.
I mean, you dress the likes of Beyonce.
Yeah.
You dress the likes of Bruno Mars. I know you're very good friends with Chronixx as well.
Yeah.
So obviously, they see some worth in not only knowing you, but also learning from you.
Yeah, the most important thing that I would say that maybe I get from these kind of artists is the humbleness that they have. The world know them, but whenever I spend time with them, sit down with them, the way they carry themselves, somebody like Chronixx, Buju Banton, Cecile, Alain, they'll call me sometimes, just to check up on me to see how are you doing, what are you doing, what are you planning to do next, and then we start speaking about our project. So it makes me believe that everybody, yes, at the end of the day, yes, you might be a celebrity, but we are all equal and we can be friends. We can inspire each other, with how we live, and, by motivating me, to be myself more, and even shaking shoulder and hugging each other, and then I go back to my community. Even the kids that grows in my community, they see I did not grew up and then I took my my fashion brand away. It's still in the middle there. Even if I work with Beyonce, I walk in the street and then they're like, oh, this guy worked with Beyonce. That inspires them to be who they are. That inspires them to accept who they are. That inspires them to achieve more and know that they can achieve whatever they want to achieve and still be there with the people in the community and keep on living a better life. So me, I'll say finding yourself is more important to me, because it helps you to understand what you want, and it keeps you in a peaceful place as an individual. Yeah.
Well, I couldn't agree more. Round of applause. That was a good answer. I keep telling people all the time, celebrities are just like everyone else,
Yeah.
We just roam around the streets and, do other things that normal people do, except when we're dressed and looking like Avido. Would you be able to share with us some problems and difficulties that you faced in chasing your dream? And how did that affect you personally, and how did you overcome them?
I'll say the main problem that I faced in in trying to achieve my dream, first of all, was getting to know what I want, getting to understand my purpose, because I didn't know that at first. I was just involving myself in doing everything, and I'm that kind of person that if I like something, I like. And even up to now, I always just involve myself in different other things, because as long as they keep me happy and they want me to grow. One of the main problems that I have, as much as I train deaf women and young mothers in my community and trying to create more opportunities for them, I'm unable to always do that if I don't have a sustainable way of also having jobs for them. Because yes, I'll train them, and once I train them, then I'm not able to retrain them maybe somehow, because maybe I did not have cell to be able to get new people, or maybe to be able to give them jobs. So I'll depend on maybe some of my friends that maybe are also designers, or maybe people that I know that are looking for tailors. But it's not they look for tailors every time. So I'll train them for 6 months. After 6 months, a group of 30 women knows how to sew, but they don't have a job. So that kind of situation, when I see that, it affects me so much. I feel like maybe sometimes I was not doing the right thing. Maybe I should not have maybe trained them and maybe put their hopes to be high, because everything that you do, whether it's positive or negative, it has circumstances. So as much as at the end of the day, like they finish these classes, they are so eager to start work, because maybe some of the first cohort were able like to get a job immediately. Them now, they don't have a job and they have been able like to train. So they feel like, oh, maybe you are wasting our time, maybe we should not have come, maybe I should have just like, look for this job and continue, maybe I would have got a job by now. I normally train them for 2 hours in a day, and I don't charge them anything. I train them Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, only 2 hours. Like they come to class, as long as you are passionate, it's totally free. Come to class, train as much as you train, and then you go home, take care of your kids, come back again. So it will say like the outcome, finding job for them sometimes become very hard. And aside from that, you find like, the second-hand market. The second-hand market is like, they maybe like you find like clothes like that are being sent in, like sometimes they normally like send as a donation to different organizational, individuals, and then they end up trying to resell them in second-hand market. And in Africa, that is like a very big thing, like for fashion designers. Like I'll be able like to create my outfit, and maybe this outfit I'm selling it maybe for like $200. So if you go to sell it to somebody, they're like, oh, let me just go to the second-hand market, then I'll buy something that's, let's say, it's like maybe like $10 that I can get like a suit, but it's not the same as that, but it's still a suit. So I'll tell somebody, this suit, this is handmade. It took me maybe like 3 days or 4 days to make it. That is like 36 to 48 hours of my time. Not to think about the creativity, not to think about like how I thought before I started working on that outfit, not just like, the focus it's on focusing on the quality alone, the research and the niche to do it. So sometimes you find like it's so hard, people comparing your prices in terms of the things that you do, but that are handmade, with the things that people can get like in second-hand market. It can never be the same, because I don't put myself in a position whereby like I'm trying maybe to manipulate anybody to do any work in a rush man, and then like, pay them little or anything. I train them, with a full chain, hoping that at the end of the day, they can be able like to earn. And every opportunity that I normally take in my life, I normally make sure the first thing that comes out of it, how can 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people get impacted from this situation? When I even told Victoria, like I believe that by now, working with Sanaa in this situation right now, at least 50 to 60 people in my community, they know like I'm here, and from this now, they are able like to understand they're gonna get like opportunities that can help them to boost their life. I've been able like to get a couple of few cells. Those cells are gonna able like to help me to keep on like making more school uniform for people in the community, maybe paying more school fees, maybe like training more deaf women and young mothers. And at the end of the day, as I keep on figuring ways of how we can be able like to keep on pushing and understanding what to do.
Oh, I love that. I love how what you mentioned about happiness, and happiness being, I guess, one of those things that you don't want to overtake on your way to the success destination, if you like. I think it's a powerful thing, because what I've experienced, even living in Kibera, is it's the people who don't have much that seem to be the most happiest.
Yeah.
Whereas, it's the people who seem to have it all that seem to always worry about the problems around them.
Yeah.
But the question that I want to ask you next is, what was the catalyst that took you from doing something as a job and a business and developing it into something bigger that has become, I guess, much bigger than even just the humanitarian project?
For me, I would say that, growing up with a single mom and seeing the struggle of what she was going through, she had friends, and maybe they were not like, keeping up as her at some point, because the situation whereby like she did not sell herself out there, she did not involve herself in prostitution. We slept a couple of days hungry, believing that we're gonna achieve something and she'll bring something to the table. My business itself started with like, $2. This $2 is some money that she was given for washing clothes. That time her boss was like, shifting houses, and the boss was like, can you wash these clothes for me? I'm shifting to this other place, and then I have to make I have to go to move in with new clothes. So that day she was given a tip of $2 on top of the $3 she always used to get paid. So when she came home, she was so happy, like, you always say I never give you pocket money. Take $2, enjoy. So when I took that money, I was like, I asked myself, what am I going to do with this money? And how am I going to be able to, because I wanted to use it in a way that I can always like remember and feel like, okay, this is like, something impactful to me. So that $2 is what I went to it with, the same second-hand market. And in that second-hand market, that's when like I bought like 2 bed sheets, because these are bed sheets that people have used before and now they resell it, so they don't care. So it had like holes, and the holes, I just took it and then I made like shirts out of it, and then I made like a costume for my dance mates. And that's how, like, I made that costume, and then that's how my business started. Later on, people started reaching out, can we get something like that? Can we get a costume also? And then that's how my business started. And when I started it, I was not chasing for money. I was just like doing it because I wanted to express myself, and I felt like I liked what I was doing, and it was so much fun, and it could keep me away from so many things. So the reason why I do it is because I reflect to the things that I went through, and I don't want people to go through the same thing. So every opportunity that comes my way, I try to figure out how I can be able to impact so many people in my community, and how can they be able to benefit from it, because I believe it's not just about me. And as I told you, I believe this is just a tool for me to be able to create opportunities for people in my community and to make them grow and understand life in general.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are wondering, $2 can really go a long way, can't it?
Yeah.
It actually brings me to the next question that's on here, which is about the issues of clothes being sent to Africa, second-hand clothes. We have toy markets and all sorts of places where, you can always grab a bargain even if it's $2,
Yeah.
Many of us used to go to Toy just to buy Christmas clothes and, just make yourself feel good because you knew the clothes came from somewhere else.
Yeah, true.
Far and wide. But the question is, a lot of clothing ends up in landfill, contributing significantly to global waste, as well as consuming water and other resources to produce new materials for fashion designers.
Yeah.
What do you think about the huge amount of waste in the industry? And shouldn't we wear clothing for many years and repair if needed rather than dispose?
I mean, for me, I even like this, like a question that I've not like encountered it the first time today. I've also like been talking with other designers in my country, and this thing like really affects so many people, and people believe that maybe it is creating job opportunities for some, but I believe that if we are able like to create like a textile industry, it can help us even like to create better job opportunities for people there. We have like good lands, we could grow crops that could lead like into fabrics, and then we produce the fabrics on our own. It's just like we don't have that support to do that yet. But if you're in a position where we get the support that can help us to grow crops, that can be able to help us to create textile industries, print our own clothes, produce them in a better way we want, we can be able to deal with it, because, disposing clothes from like, over there affects us so much, because in one way you find, like the way I told you, my business started with $2. You can go to the market, you buy something like even for 60 cents, like a full suit. So me as a designer, if I'm making an outfit, somebody want to compare the something for 60 cents and something that you made for like 48 hours or even 1 week or 1 month with 60 cents. Doesn't make sense at all. So even if you're trying to create opportunities or trying to see what one way or the other, people still like don't respect you for what you're doing. People don't understand even what you're doing. They don't even understand why they should pay you that money. They'll be like, I'll just go to the second-hand market and buy it and stuff. But the bigger picture is like us creating a textile industry to be able to create job opportunities for these people. And we believe by creating a textile industry can be able to help them to have better job opportunities than even just like being there, because it's hard to just also kill it because there are so many people involved in it, and it's like a chain of something that it's hard to just go away with it just like that. So first thing is like creating like a way of like giving them a sub to make them see the bigger picture, and then now we can focus with the other one.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's good to have a focus from within.
Yeah.
I know Africans, we all love, we take pride in what we wear, so
That's true.
custom clothing is always good.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Probably one of the reasons why your phone is always busy. Somebody's always calling you for some sort of event or major, which is true.
Yeah.
So, Africans, their best friends are tailors. You've probably seen just the color and everything. In fact, come to Sanaa, you see some of that even at the fashion parade tomorrow.
Yeah.
The last question that I have here is, what advice would you give for someone starting out today?
I mean, the advice that I'll tell somebody that is starting today is that the things that you went through or the bad things that happened to you is not something that could push you not to do anything anymore. In life, as I can say, the night starts when it is dark. In the middle of the night, it's totally dark. So you can start a life with the darkest side of your life and end up when it's bright. That's why the night starts at night, and then it ends up when it's bright later on in the evening. Don't hurry in life, though I told you before, don't hurry in life, take things easy. People can achieve success when they're 60, 50, 30, sometimes 20, 45. Doesn't matter when. The most important things, are you happy? Try to create happiness, figure out how to live a better life, healthy lives, whichever way you feel like, as long as it keeps you happy and you want to grow from it and you enjoy doing it. Because I have seen people losing life, like my friends. I lost like 70% of my friends, to different things that I could not say. You are spending time with somebody today, tomorrow they don't have, like, you work so hard to achieve something and then you become totally very rich and stuff, and then the next day you're dead. Just appreciate the moment. Grow up as you experience the things that you go through, love it, spend time with the people, create time, not always busy and stuff, just create time, enjoy life, appreciate people, be you. Don't filter things, just be you. There's nothing beautiful like just being yourself. You grow old, you are super happy and you're enjoying everything that you are going through. That's the only thing I can say, I like it like that.
I love that. Express yourself and be happy.
Yeah.
Wear clothes that make you happy.
That's the thing.
I think do we have some time for some audience questions? It's always good to hear from you guys out there. So we'll pass it on. If anyone has any questions, by all means, this is your chance.
Do I say Kiribu?
Yes.
Kiribu, welcome to Adelaide.
Yeah. Thank you.
I actually took 32 students to Kibera in 2004.
Wow.
I was working in Mombasa in Kenya, and you said that just to bring some students there for them to see. It was the biggest eye-opener for these kids in their entire life. But what I learned was what you actually said. You don't have to be rich. In fact, the kindest people I've ever met have been the poorest. And I met this lovely woman called Margaret who lived in a little square corrugated iron house, one mattress, mum, daughter and the children, and she invited me in and she offered me a cup of tea. I said no, but when I got back to the kids I said, why does that make her the kindest woman? It's because she offered to share her water. And as you know, water is really, really scarce in Kibera. Yeah. But it was an amazing experience. I just wanted to say rather than to ask a question. Thank you. Welcome to Adelaide.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
We had a lady at the top there.
Thanks so much. That's just been a really inspiring and uplifting story, and you look fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you do. I just wanted to ask, where to from here? What is the next year, 2, 3, 4, 5 look like for you?
For me, the next 2, 3, 4 years, first thing, I just want to be alive. And then aside from that, I want to try and create more opportunities for people in my community, because that gives me peace. And my main goal is to be able to create a company, an industrial area, an industry whereby I can be able to hire maybe 200 to 500 or to 1,000 people. Because in Kibera, as much as people might think it's small, it's the biggest slum in Africa right now, and we have a population of almost between 800,000 to 1.5 million people. So can you imagine how big it is? So creating an industry that can help them to earn and pay them the right way is my biggest goal. Right now I only have 15 tailors that I hire, and it's not I hire them permanently. So it's party time whereby they can do some other jobs, and if I have more work, then at least I can be able to give them more work. So by being able to to have a proper sustainable way of selling more of my clothes, I believe that can be able to help me to be in that position. So I'm just hoping things will work out in those 3 to 5 years, as much as I'm being alive.
We wish you more life, my brother.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's thank Avido one more time. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. You truly are inspirational, and we certainly hope that you enjoy your time here in Adelaide. We certainly Very thrilled to host you. You're an amazing guy to not only just be around, but also learn from. I'd like to also take this moment to just thank Jacinta Thompson once again, the Executive Director of the Hawke Center, and also the team that have been here helping in supporting tonight's event, and also Avido's visit here in Adelaide. So a big thank you to the team here in Jacinta. Thank you all once again for taking the time. We'll all be here mingling, so by all means, do come and say hi, and feel free to see some of the wonderful works from Avido. Let's thank him once again, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.